Hi, last night I watched How I Won the War, Richard Lester's 1967 satire. It's an unusual picture. It's very loosely adapted from a novel and stars Michael Crawford as Lieutenant Goodbody, a World War II officer who is given command of a troop in North Africa. We see him going through their basic training, and they immediately hate Goodbody, who is naive, overly jingoistic, and has seemingly antiquated notions of comparing war to a big game. This is consolidated when they arrive in Africa, the troop is sent off on a 3-day mission to prepare an oasis so that cricket can be played there. Their journey to the oasis gets a series of run-ins with the enemy, a series of farcical and absurd situations, and a strange postmodern notion of characters addressing the audience repeatedly as though they're telling stories of their war exploits from years in the future. One character repeatedly mentions in advance that he's going to be killed in North Africa, but says it so jovially that it's almost like telling a tale of some works outing that he went on. As characters are killed, they then seemingly come back to life, but are now head to foot a single colour, at first green, then red, and then by the end of the film also blue, as though they're turning literally into toy soldiers, being played with by the idiot officer class. Much of the story is also narrated in flashback, with Goodbody having been captured at the start of the film and now acting as Dog's body for a German officer during the Battle of Arnhem and helping to mine a bridge. The German officer is, in fact, very friendly and helpful and interested in Goodbody's exploits. But over the course of the story, the two realise how much they have in common, and he explicitly says that Goodbody is effectively a fascist because of his attitude to the working classes, his belief in military superiority, his class concepts. And it ends with Goodbody eventually giving him a fascist salute. Goodbody is played by Michael Crawford, as I said, and it's interesting to see the antecedent of Frank Spencer there. There is an interest in extreme physical comedy and near stunt work in a lot of scenes, but he also has that same naivety, that same delusion about his position in the world. What's really notable about the supporting cast is that this is the only non-musical film to star John Lennon, who plays Gripweed, one of the privates in the troupe who is notoriously a thief. Lennon apparently was very interested in just being part of the ensemble, mucking in and not taking over the movie. And in fact, he doesn't. He's part of the group. And although he distinguishes himself with a strong and competent and engaging performance, he doesn't steal the movie. But nevertheless, he's billed second very prominently. And all the promotional materials make a lot of play of his appearance. But it's very much an ensemble picture, but with Crawford at the top. It's a strange film. I think one problem was that there's a lot of dense dialogue that in the version that I watched, the sound wasn't properly carrying. So I think a remastered version might be necessary. But it's a very stylized, very creative, original concept. It's very much, I think, the film against which all other Richard Lester works should be judged because it feels like the most undiluted version of his vision of cinema. That strange burlesque, satirical, slapstick comedy, that mixture of high and low art, which you can see in a lot of his other works. Later on, it peters out in films like Superman 3. But here it's very present, and you can see the seed of it in his Beatles movies and some of his later 1970s pictures. I noticed Roy Kinnear, his lucky actor, is in this, who I think is in at least 5 of his other movies. It's an interesting picture, not a wholly successful one, but even for the presence of Lennon alone, it's an interesting curio. But if you only watch it for that, I think you'll find a lot more that's worth engaging with.